Your caller made the beat, boy.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another episode of She Good People Podcast. My name is Kelsey Coop Charles, and with me always, I have Antonio Bro Long. Antonio, how's it going tonight?
Everything lovely. Been a rough day. My Steelers looking stank. But we can get on from that. We ain't got to have that discussion.
Yeah, I wasn't going to say anything. I do believe that, Steelers have been great for a long time. Everybody has their ebbs and flows, their peaks and valleys. You're going through a valley right now. You'll bounce back.
Oh, we'll bounce back for the end of the year, but I mean, as bad as we playing, we still in the division. So I mean, we still haven't played the Ravens. So I ain't confident, but I'm optimistic.
Okay. Well, anything can happen, man. Next man up mentality, anything can change in any given week, and the NFL is all about matchups. So,
well, the thing is, we finna go through a tough stretch. We're playing some tough teams. Blow the game last week, and today I knew we was outmatched. Philly is the class of the NFC, so I mean, we just ain't gonna be able to do anything with them
until we play them. I digress. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. But anyway, let's go on and get into this. For the community focus this week, in 2 weeks is optimal time. We want everybody to go out on election day. Not gonna tell you who to vote. Not my business. But the thing is, you should go out and vote. Period. If you're registered to vote, there's no excuse for you to not go out and vote. If there's early voting in your state, which most states have right now, you need to make sure that if you can't make it on election day, you need to make sure that you vote before early voting stops. It is critical, especially in the 2 states where we reside right now. It's critical. You cannot play around. Definitely in Georgia, don't play around. I'm not telling you who to vote, but let's be real, y'all. It's one fella in Georgia. If y'all let that fella get in, bruh, he puts a stain on all our community, bro.
I'm not even gonna comment. I think you said it best. Get out there and make your vote count. It all starts with the local vote. And you just got to make your voice heard, man. Make your vote count, and let your voice be heard.
Right.
The people that actually do run it, we really don't think that we have the power, but hey, every vote counts. And for every person that doesn't vote, you're doing yourself a great disservice. I mean, you have no room to comment or say anything because you could have made that vote that made vote that made a difference. So
right.
You said I'm not going to tell you who to vote for, who not to vote for, whatever, but do your duties. I say it's all right, we can do it. Let's make it happen.
That's right. Too many people died for you to have this opportunity to vote. You got to make sure you uphold what they stood for and make sure you make your voice heard. Even if your candidate might not win, at least let them know that you there and you can't be taken for granted.
That is correct.
All right.
So, how do we want to do this?
We're gonna jump on in. Today's podcast is about the NBA. The season has already started. We're a little late, but in a way, we kind of wanted to make sure that we saw a few games before we made our inferences known to everyone. See some things happening early on in the season, and then we also see some trends that we've been talking about over the last few years of doing the podcast. And I just can't wait to get to my favorite part where I can say what I want to say. But go ahead, Kelsey. We're gonna start in the Eastern Conference, okay?
All right. Well, let's go ahead and address the elephant in the room. The Boston Celtics. They lost their coach over the summer due to a scandal. Had some indiscretions with some people in house, with some people of the opposite sex in house. But we digress from that. That's another topic for another day. We merely brought it up because it does put a stain on the season. As far as these guys, they put their heart and soul into it. They made a run to the finals last year. And, things were looking up for him. It was a very young core, with the exception of Marcus Smart, but he's still playing good bullet ball. You know, that's what you really need on your team. He's the attitude adjuster on the team. But to lose the head, you know, lose the head of the organization, well, not the organization, but for the players, the head, the coach, you know, someone who's played in the NBA, who's had experience, who knows what it's like in that locker room, know what it's like to be on the road, can give those guys a whole lot of knowledge and wisdom, you know.
Right.
They came out first game, made a statement against the Nets, but, you know, and I still think they'll make a good run this year, but it would have been real nice to have that run back with a guy that got you there. Well,
that's true. We're not gonna get into the situation that got him. The only thing I say is, one, it shouldn't have never. That's a HR. I'm with Stephen A. That's a HR handling of the situation. You shouldn't have never let it got out there like that in the first place. Two, to Ime Udoka, I will say this here: she better be bad, bro. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm gonna leave it at that. She better be bad. Even though Nia, you know, family, whatever like that, she better be bad, bro. That's all I'm gonna say. Because if she ain't,
even if she's bad, though, it wasn't worth it.
I just say she better be bad. That's all. As far as I'm going, she better be bad. Cause my 51-year-old cousin, you know, bro, you know, she one of them. You know, she black royalty, as we call it. You know what I'm saying? So you can't win. You can't win in that situation, okay? Whether she bad or not, you ain't gonna win in that situation because again, she is black royalty. All right. So aside from that, on the court, I think Boston will still be there just from the typical standpoint. Tatum and Brown are a difficult duo to control. They made great strides last year, making it to the finals. I think they're gonna continue to improve. One of the things they need to do, they got to get that dog in them. That's the biggest thing for both of them.
I'm starting to see a little bit of that in Brown. I'm starting to see him come around a little bit.
Yeah. Early on, I'm seeing it. Tatum, I'm still, I'm a little, you know, I for all these kids that look up to Kobe, the thing about the Mamba was this here: the Mamba didn't care. And I think that's something that all these young gentlemen are lacking. They don't have. They try to emulate Kobe, but they don't have that don't care mentality that Kobe had. Yeah, you know, you got to have that dog in you. You know, where you think you better than everybody else, and until somebody prove you wrong, you know, you got to be like that.
I've only seen that in really three to four guys. I'm gonna say MJ, Kobe, Garnett, and I know this might be a little up in there. Off the court, you can say whatever you want to, but on the court, D-Wade was that dog, man. He didn't back down anybody. He went through everybody, and if you fouled him and the ref didn't call it, hey, he made sure it was no. He'll catch a tech just because you know.
That they play with the old school NBA mentality, and this is one of the things. And I got into a little Facebook beef the other day about the great LeBron James. But I was being real when I said this, you know, and a little young dude came at me like, you know, an old head. But I'm gonna tell you like this: you don't get to be no old head being a young fool. All right. So the thing about it is, listen to what we try to tell y'all about these teams or whatever, because we didn't seen it all. Y'all think y'all seeing something brand new or whatever. Back in the day, and even old pros have said LeBron wouldn't be nothing in the old school NBA because somebody done hurt him when you could really hurt people. You know what I mean? Rick Mahorn would have been took him out. Laimbeer definitely would have been.
Yeah, Bill Laimbeer. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, you got to understand when we say you got to get that dog. There's only a few fellas in the league right now that got that dog in them like that. You know, where okay, you might shut me down for 3 quarters, but you know the 4th quarter mine. You ain't got this kind of mentality that's prevalent throughout the league because everybody buddy and everybody cool, and you don't want to embarrass your friend. But that's the way Kobe and Mike and KG, there was no friends when the ball game started. I'll holler at you after the game, but there was no friends. And that's one of the things I think Tatum could be unmistakably one of the best players in the league. But he Is something missing? I just can't put my finger on what's actually missing from him right now because he got the game. He plays decent defense. He has a nice jumper. He can shoot the three, but it's something just not quite there yet. And I can't put my finger on it. And I just don't know what it is. Now, he might be a typical Duke player. That's the way I look at it.
Step little brother. That's all it is. Babyface Assassin Part 2. That's all it is.
Right.
I mean, he gonna kill you. He gonna get what he gonna get, but you never gonna see him out there with the Kobe mentality. Now, don't get me wrong. I think he's very competitive, highly competitive, as a matter of fact. And I think he takes losing just as bad as anybody who's uber competitive does, but he just doesn't show it.
Well, when I say the Kobe mentality, this is what I mean. You couldn't punk Kobe.
No.
You know what I'm saying? You could punk Jason Tatum. You know what I'm saying? You can't punk Kobe. You know what I'm saying? That wasn't his way, you know. And that's too much. There ain't a lot of guys in the NBA right now that you already know. Man, don't try him. You know, don't try him defensively, offensively. Don't trash talk. You know, because you know he gonna hurt your feelings when he get in his feelings. That's the thing, and that's the thing I see from Jason. Jason can have a game where he go off. Jason easily can go off for 40, 50 points. But then the next game, you might not find Jason. Yeah. So it's the consistency that goes along with it. And then I think what Boston's biggest issue is, and granted, Marcus Smart is there, and he's a dog, and he plays hard, and he does all of this here. But they need a true point guard. Marcus Smart is a great defensive player, but running a team, running an offense, that's where we saw in the finals that it broke down for them. And that's where I think they're going to have to get better play as the season goes on if they want to return to the finals.
Yeah, because you think about it, Klay was off pretty much since he came back last year.
Right.
He really didn't affect the finals at all.
Right.
You know, you had to account for him because if he got hot, oh boy, watch out.
Right.
But you know, he really didn't do anything in the finals.
But Marcus Smart is not that type of player. Marcus Smart is a 12 to 16 point player. But he's not gonna give out 10 dimes. You already know that. So that puts extra pressure on Tatum and Brown to have to handle the ball in crunch time. And then at the same time, one of the things we saw last year during the playoffs is that when you put effective defensive pressure on Taylor and Brown, they will turn the ball over. Yeah. So you need a point guard that can stabilize that.
But I'm going to bring something that you talked about, because to me, I think a player like Marcus Smart would fit in the old NBA.
Yeah.
So he's not trying to get me a lot of points, but that goes to show how much the game has shifted. Because whereas he would be an asset, I mean, don't get me wrong, he's still an asset to a team now, but you know, he was more of a liability where he would have been more of an asset during those times. He's more of a liability in this era.
The best comparison I can give you to Marcus Smart is Derek Harper from the old Knicks and old Dallas Mavericks. He was, you know, probably, you know, that type of player where he played hard-nosed defense, which was what was needed. And, you know, he wasn't going to get you, you know, if he got you 20 points, that was a plus.
A plus, yeah. You knew you were going to have a good night.
Right. That was a plus. If he got you 20, you having a good night. You know what I'm saying? But we'll move on. I think the next best team in the East over Boston is Milwaukee. I think, in my opinion, Milwaukee, a healthy Chris Middleton is going to make all the difference. I don't think Boston would have got there last year.
Shout out to SC, by the way. You know, boy from Charleston area.
Oh, of course. You know, we always go represent home. But a healthy Chris Middleton and a healthy Giannis and a healthy Brook Lopez.
Yeah.
And they can walk through the East.
Don't forget Holiday.
Oh yeah.
You can get one of those guys too to go off.
Drew is one of the better defensive players. You saw that last year during the playoffs. But when he has to take on added scoring role, that's why you need Chris Middleton there. When he has to take on added scoring role, you have to find that third shooter, third scorer for Milwaukee, and that's where it hurts them. Right now, nobody's stopping Giannis. Nobody. I don't care who you are. He has got his game to a point right now where if he on the high post, he is going to obliterate people. Yeah. Nobody can stop him. Nobody can stop him. You know, and can go off for 50 when he feel like it.
As you can see, and he's not a liability at the free throw line either. Well, as far as time, you might miss because he's taking too much time. But he's become a remarkably better free throw shooter.
You can tell during the summers he is working on his game, and you can tell that he has this mentality. I haven't seen anybody from a post standpoint dominate like this since Shaq. So when you add in the post and you can step out every now and again, because he's not looking to shoot jumpers all the time.
No,
bullet ball. But if he can shoot, if he can hit consistency from jumpers, that opens up his driving, and it opens up him down low. When he's down low, nobody can stop him. So he already knows that. So it's a point of how they want to play. As long as Brook Lopez stays healthy, and again, if Middleton comes back, I'm predicting them to come out the East.
So you're saying the three-headed monster would be three and a possible, not spades, but you got Giannis, Middleton, and Drew.
Yeah.
With a healthy dose of Lopez.
With a healthy dose of Brook
That's
Lopez.
a recipe for disaster for anybody else.
And Bobby Portis.
Well, yeah, you can't forget about Portis. Don't forget Grayson Allen either now.
Right. Well, Grayson Allen is a liability on some games.
He's a throwback to the old NBA. Hey, you need to get a fella out of the way. Grayson's your man.
Well, he's Danny Ainge. He's the modern day Danny Ainge. That's what he is. He's gonna trip you, kick you, pull you out the air. But he's there as a pest. He's not there as someone to help you. He's there as a pest because he'll hit an occasional three outside jumper, but he's more of an antagonist more than anything else. That's his whole role for being on that team, and that's what they need because you can't lose.
That's a major role, though. You think about it. That's a major role on a team like that. Your guy. This is a crying league. Well, I don't want to say it like that.
Yeah, it's a crying league. They all cry. They whining as bunch of fellas I ever seen in my life.
So if you can get a guy like that to come out there and wreak havoc, hey, mentally you already got another team's head.
Right. Because they call, right now they call touch fouls, and I'm like, really, was that a foul? Because we came along during the time when there was no blood, no foul. You had to really foul somebody to get a foul.
It had to be to the point y'all get ready to fight before they call a foul.
Right. So, but we knew that. But see, now, the NBA has kind of softened its stance over the years because they don't want, fights and stuff like that. But a lot of times right now,
they want high scoring, they want more exciting games. If you stopping the game, but then again, there, I guess they would let them play though. If you stopping the game in seconds because somebody touch, reach, whatever, that's not good for business.
Well, it's not good for business, but the thing is, it's hard to play defense without hands. I'm sorry. Because you got to be able, you got to be able to be a little physical with somebody, because if not, with the talent that these young guys have right now and the size and the speed that they have, one step and they to the basket if you ain't able to put hands on them. Now, but there's a way you can do this without getting foul calls.
Yeah.
You just got to know how to do it. And everybody is not teaching that, because that's one of the things that's lacking from a fundamental standpoint, where to move your feet, play physical, but not be physical to the point that you foul it.
Exactly. Yeah. Definitely. So I guess we're going to segue on your team.
Well, I'm going to tell you about the Sixers, and I'll be just honest with it. James Harden is a liability, as you saw the other night when they were playing Boston. Boston beat the doors off us because of the fact James Harden's back to playing hero ball. He shook Marcus Smart a couple of times in that game, but he missed wide open jumpers. James Harden is not a reliable source of scoring. James Harden, mostly, if you actually go back and look at James Harden, has James Harden ever beat anybody in a game that mattered? But we've put everything on him. And to the point that right now, Joel Embiid is not getting touches. Now, the other night they won. Tyrese Maxey had 44 points. Tyrese Maxey is a better player and needs to have the ball in his hand 100 times more than James Harden. As long as we got James Harden on the Sixers are not going anywhere. It was a bad deal. I hollered and fussed about it when they made it. And then the other factor that the Sixers have is this here. You wasting Joel Embiid. Doc is not a coach. I don't care what nobody say. They can put him up as one of the best coaches. I don't know why. Only because you won with a team in Boston that had KG, Paul Pierce, Ray Allen, That's why you won. Okay. It ain't had nothing to do with your coaching ability, because when you had Orlando and you had a young T-Mac, you couldn't win. Okay. When you was in Los Angeles with the Clippers and you had Chris Paul and Blake and DeAndre Jordan, couldn't win. Matter of fact, if you actually go back and look at the Clippers at that point, they played better with Vinny Del Negro when they was Lob City boys than they did when Doc got hold to.
Well, that's true. That is true.
Doc is a liability, okay? I don't care what people can talk about. Doc is a liability. Doc consistently gets out coached in big games.
Let me ask this question. What is going on with your boy Tobias Harris? I always felt that he was a much better player than he is.
No, he ain't. He is what we thought he was. No, he ain't. Tobias Harris is a complimentary player. If you're relying on him to score or you relying on him to be a leader on your team, that's a waste of time. There was no reason to even think that this was going to be better. When that team had Jimmy Butler and Tobias Harris, Ben Simmons, and Embiid, if they would have kept Jimmy Butler, they'd be winning the championship. They would be winning the championship. I'll be honest with that right now. Because the focus wouldn't have been on Tobias. Tobias Harris is the type fella. If he give you 15 a game, you good. But don't expect him to do nothing else because he can't. That's not his game. He is a complimentary player. The bright lights don't do him no good. Right now, the Sixers are in destruction mode. I don't care what nobody say. They might make it to the semifinals in the East. They ain't going nowhere.
So you think Embiid's going to ask for to get out sooner or later?
If I was him, yes, I would definitely leave Philly. And I'm saying this, and I'm a Sixers fan, and I'm telling you, I would leave Philly because they're going to waste your career just like we did Allen Iverson's career. Just like you did, okay? Embiid has everything. Can shoot, can play down low, play defense, okay? Only problem with Embiid, he has a tendency to get hurt.
Yeah.
Other than that, you have no thing. But the thing is this here. You look at the team that's around him right now. I don't see anything. They don't have enough to beat Boston. They don't have enough to beat Milwaukee. They don't have enough to beat the Nets. They can, but I just don't see it. Not on a consistent level. James Harden, I want nothing to do with James Harden.
So you think it's more of a talent level, coaching, or just a combination of everything?
Both, because again, you have not surrounded Joel Embiid with. Now Tyrese Maxey is his only, for sure, consistent player. Okay, everything after that.
But if you look at it from a coaching standpoint, they can spread the floor and let Joel do what he needs to do. Now, if you just depend on Harden not to be the facilitator of everything and knock down a jump shot here or there, wouldn't that work a little bit better?
It would work a little bit better. They trying to run pick and roll basketball, but this is the thing: if you run pick and roll basketball and Embiid is sitting the pick, James Harden is not passing the ball. So what difference is it going to make? James Harden don't pass. Yeah, he get triple doubles and whatever, but you watch his triple doubles. His triple doubles is garbage triple doubles. Okay.
So if Embiid had a true point guard, it could actually pick and roll, feed him the ball 10 times better.
If him and Tyrese Maxey was on the floor, pick and roll, he would be 10 times better because you couldn't stop them. You already know James Harden ain't gonna pass. So why am I gonna play Embiid? Let James Harden shoot. Until he can prove he gonna hit consistently, let James Harden shoot. I'll go with the roll. I ain't going with the pick. That's just the way it is. And then the other thing is this here, if I'm Doc, 1 out of every 3 times down the floor, Joel need to get the ball in the post. Because who gonna stop him? Because unless you play in Milwaukee, you ain't got nobody to stop him.
That's 3 points all day. Unless you catch him if they don't feed it to him high, you have a chance. But they feed it to him high, he can go in his move. That's it.
That's it. He going to the line because either you gonna foul him or he gonna score. Period.
So it's gonna be 2 or 3. Either way you look at it.
Right.
Automatic.
Right. But they won't do it. And that's what kills them. And see, they play around like see the beginning of the year, you already see it took them 3 games before they got their first win because of the fact, okay, you start off with 3 hard teams. You ain't doing what you need to do. Embiid already got the look on his face like, man, this ain't working. He already got the look on his face.
Yeah, most definitely. Most definitely.
Now let's jump
the other team you love, because your boy went there. And we're talking about Ben Simmons and the Nets.
Bruh, this is the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen in my life, okay? What made anybody think that he was going to be better than what he was? He has not shown at any point in his life that we've known Ben Simmons when he was at LSU, when we seen him in Philly. He don't want to score. He don't want to shoot. He play fairly well defense, but you in the league now, you can play fairly well defense. You 6'10".
Yeah. He was going to facilitate and play defense.
Right. All you gotta do is stand there. But then when you look at, they lost the game the other night where KD and Kyrie had 30 points apiece. Okay.
Was that the same game? Because I turned it off. I didn't see a lot.
They played the Grizzlies.
There was one. No, I don't think that was that game. I saw one particular play where Ben Simmons was driving toward the goal. He had it. Either he was going to lay it up or foul. Kevin Durant was trailing him. He turned around and passed the ball to Kevin Durant.
That was the same game. That was the same game. Kyrie fussing at him, telling him to shoot the ball. He is by himself down there. He had, y'all, people can say he got a mental block. It ain't got nothing to do with none of that.
Dunk it. You 6'10".
Bruh, it ain't in him. It ain't in him. That is the biggest waste of 6'10" in my life. Okay. Biggest waste. I've seen Sean Bradley was 7'6". Sean Bradley would at least try to score. He might not have made it, but he at least tried to score.
Yeah.
Okay. Ben don't want to score. Ben don't want to shoot. Ben don't want to do nothing.
That's a liability on the court.
He is truly a liability. And this is the thing. KD, you made your bed, you're going to have to lie in it. The same way I get on LeBron, I'm getting on KD right now. You asked for this. You wanted to play with Kyrie. You had the good life. You was in San Francisco playing with Stephen Clay. You could have been chipping.
It wasn't his team.
It still ain't his team. It still ain't his team. You got crazy behind Kyrie. Kyrie just a fool as I don't know what. And you got Ben Simmons that don't want to shoot. Tell me how you gonna win another championship. I'll wait.
But say what you want to say. If Kyrie is in the game, I'm gonna say this. He's by far the most dangerous man in the NBA. But
he may be
dangerous. He got to be in the right head space.
He may be dangerous. But we already see he done made a hard left already. He done made a hard left. So that's already bringing undue criticism and undue attention to the team that's going to struggle in the first place. You don't need this.
But here's my problem. I think, and I might get some backlash for this or whatever, but I think we need to stop caring about so much about what these players do or think when they're not on the court. It's a game. It's a game that brings, but the problem with America now is we're too opinionated about a lot of things. I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings or saying that thing. You know, and it's blown way up if it's a celebrity or whatever, where in real life people have these conversations all the time. But because you're in front of the camera, you got to say this, say that, say the other thing. He is a human being at the end of the day. We're all flawed. We all make mistakes. But the problem is, you know, when you're on that scale, people look at you, you're supposed to be better than this, that, and the other thing. But when you got CEOs that aren't related to sport, doing things, they're saying things, doing things, you hear nothing about it. But because you're in the public eye, you're making these, you know, and you shouldn't, don't get me wrong. It's just, I don't know. I don't know why we expect so much out of these players. They're players. They're just people just like everybody else.
This is
for the guy given time.
This is the thing, bro. We all got platforms. Now is the first time in history of America where everybody has a platform. Me and you right now have a platform. We can say what we want to say. Now, we don't go to the outlandish things that some people have said over the last few weeks or whatever. But at the same time, we just give our opinions. But this is the thing. What you have to understand and what you have to realize is when you are in the position that you are in, more attention and more focus is placed on you than me and you. Okay. The people that listen to our podcast, they just listen to our podcast because it gives them something to do. Okay. But a microphone is not in our face 24 hours a day like it is with Kyrie.
That is true.
So the thing is this here. Sometimes it's better to shut up. You can think whatever you want to think. Sometimes just be quiet, bro.
That's
Because
true.
tell me how you play in a city that everything that you're going to do is going to be front page news because you play in that city. You can say this in Charlotte. Nobody really going, you know.
Not really. I think
if he was in Denver, if Kyrie was in Utah or Denver, nobody would care.
If he's still the same player he is now, they would care.
Only if they
social media nowadays. I think with the advent of social media, everything, like you said, is under a microscope. I have people saying things like this all the time. Back in the day, I mean, and to a point, you're all right, because I know. Let's take the state of South Carolina for a change. For instance, if the players in USC football team did something, it's going to be on the news before it's over with, because you got what 6-7 news media outlets right there in the state in Columbia, South Carolina.
Right.
You take that to Clemson, they can get away with a whole lot more than nobody ever know about it, because the closest news media outlet, Anderson, South Carolina, Greenville, you got to go an hour or 2 hours just to get the news out there. But a lot of attention has been given to Clemson over the last few years because of what? They won national championship. They've done this, they've done that. So it's going to find you wherever you go if you're big enough.
Well, but this is the thing, though. You cannot be in the media market, the king media market of all the world.
That is true. That is true.
The king, because everything flows out of New York. I don't care what nobody say. LA can think they did. Atlanta can think they did. Everything flows out of New York. Styles, trends, everything comes through New York. I don't care who you are, what you are, whatever. And when you are saying the things that you are saying, and you are the preeminent team in New York, because the Knicks are not the Knicks, okay? They are not. These are not the Patrick Ewing, Anthony Mason, John Starks Knicks, okay? Your team is the one that's supposed to be winning. You got 2 top flight superstars on your team. Okay. We don't never talk basketball about this team. It always the off the court mess with this team.
That is true.
It is always the soap opera that y'all got going on, because y'all are divas. All of them. One of them 7 foot tall, one of them 6'10", the other 6'1". Divas. Every last one of them. And that's their problem. And this is the thing. This is going to be another year that you together that you ain't going to win no championship, because you ain't a team. You individuals. And until you get the team mentality, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. All right?
Let's hit South Beach.
All right. So we're going to hit South Beach. Bottom line, Jimmy need help. They're going to play hard-nosed. They play Pat Riley basketball. That's how Pat Riley got this team set up. Jimmy need help. Every place Jimmy has been, Jimmy need help. They don't get Jimmy no help. Kyle Lowry is not the answer.
Bam is.
Who?
Bam.
Yeah, Bam is. But is we going to get consistency? Because this is the thing. When you put Miami against Boston, when you put Miami against Philly, when you put Miami against Milwaukee, when you put Miami against the Nets, Jimmy need help, man.
He ain't big enough. Bam ain't big enough. He got to develop that outside shot.
Right.
Now, I will say this, though. If that outside shot is falling for Miami, they're going to be a problem. But it's not going to be consistent.
It's not going to be consistent.
Pick and choose.
They are bona fide Eastern Conference semifinal, maybe Eastern Conference final, depending on how they fall in the seasons. But I don't see them doing anything beyond that, because in order for them to win, they need somebody else to step up and give them consistent 20 to 25 every night. And Bam ain't going to do that.
I thought Donovan was going to go there. I thought for when he got out of
you bring up Donovan, you're going to have to deal with them.
Well, Cleveland was already something to deal with without Donovan.
Yeah, but you're going to have to deal with them now.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're gonna have to deal with Cleveland right now. That was a great move on their part to go get Donovan Mitchell. You're gonna have to deal with Cleveland because if Cleveland finishes in the top 4, ain't nobody want to play them. Ain't nobody want to play them because they got 4 bona fide scores.
Yeah,
and ain't nobody got 4 people to guard them 4 fellas.
No, you got to pick and choose.
Other than Milwaukee.
And even then, though, I mean, if those guys get going, can Milwaukee really stop them or just try to stay part to the course with them?
But when you flip it, though, Cleveland don't have anybody to stand up with Giannis. That's the difference maker in that situation.
You got to stretch some NBA Jam.
No, bro. No.
Stretch and give him a little bit.
No.
Until you get in foul trouble.
Oh, he gonna get in foul trouble if he guard Giannis. I can tell you that right there. You know. And then let's finish up the East right here. Let's just touch on the 2 hometown teams, the Charlotte Hornets and the Atlanta Hawks. I think the Hawks got a nice young core with Javonte Murray and Trae Young. John Collins, I just don't see it. That's my opinion.
If he stay healthy, if he can stay healthy, that's the problem. That's been the problem.
Yeah, that's been the problem. I just don't see it though, and I just don't think having that smaller backcourt is going to do you any good when you get to the playoffs, because of the fact we all know playoff basketball is different than regular season basketball. They let you be a little more physical, and I just don't think Trae can deal with that punishment. Now, if you playing the Knicks, he gonna put on a show.
Yeah.
But if he playing anybody else, if he playing Boston gonna dog him. Because you just unleash Marcus Smart on him, and they gonna hurt him. You know what I'm saying? I think add Murray gonna help. It might put them in the 5-6 range. I just don't think they gonna they gonna make a run like they did a couple of years back. But it's a good place for. As far as the Hornets.
He needs to get a veteran or 2 on that team to really know they can teach him.
He need an old head veteran that they've been through it like it was when he first came in the league. He need an Oakley, somebody like an Oakley or a KG type that can pull that team together. Losing Miles Bridges is a hurt, but I mean he did it to himself, so I really can't say it's one of those situations. Domestic violence is what it is. But Miles Bridges could have helped them a lot this year. I don't think it's going to happen. And then that's the thing that the Hornets need. They need a bona fide scorer. They need somebody that's going to give them, that can go off for 30 every now and again.
Yeah, that's true.
That's what killing them. So playoff teams in the East, I got the Bucks, Celtics, Hawks, Cavs, Raptors, Nets. I got the 76ers at the 7th seed, so they'll be in the play-in, along with the Bulls, Hornets, and Wizards. I think Bradley Beal and them, they got a good core. I think they'll be there.
Well, I see somebody missing from this.
Who?
Let's see. I see where Mahid at?
Oh, you know what? That's my bad. My bad. The Heat there. The Heat should be
I say 4 or 5, somewhere in there.
Should be 4 or 5. I think the Nets gonna be trying hard. The Nets gonna be trying hard to stay out of the play-in, if you ask me, along with the Sixers. That's just the way I see it. And the only reason I say that is because both of them have flawed teams that I think is gonna go where you look at the Raptors, you look at the Cavs. I just think they just better teams than what we give them credit for.
Yeah, I'm gonna say something real ignorant right now, but good and well it could be true. I think you got the Bulls at the right spot, but we all know the Bulls could be probably anywhere from 3 on down. It just depends.
If the Bulls could ever get healthy, the Bulls have the ability to dominate the East if they could ever get healthy. But Zach stay hurt. We don't never know if Lonzo gonna play again. DeMar doing all he can with the mid-range game, but I would love to put them higher. I think they're gonna play good enough to get in the play-in. I just don't think they're gonna play good enough to get beyond that because you don't know who's going to be there.
But if they're healthy going into the playoffs, if they're healthy going into the playoffs,
if they're healthy going to playoffs, they have the opportunity to go to the Eastern Conference Finals if they're healthy.
No problem.
Because
but it could be any one game during that series, somebody out.
Oh, they're gonna be hurt because they're walking wounded now. They now one thing you can say about the Bulls, they have a team full of street clothes. That is one thing that is prominent on their team. They got a team full of street clothes.
Yeah. So it's hard to get chemistry like that, though. I mean, somebody's always out.
Right. Well, that's true. That's true. All right, let's jump into the West. Already know Golden State. The Draymond situation, that's not a biggie because of the fact teammates get into it all the time. If you go to any basketball game, even on the asphalt, teammates gonna get into it because something gonna happen. It's always.
I think KG said it best. He said they were coming off the chip one year, the year that they won, and second string. Sometimes it's feeling themselves. They want a bigger role, and the chest get puffed out a little bit, and they got to understand. It's hard to get there. It's hard to do what you did. Now I'm taking a different step because Jordan Poole, he was a very integral part of that. So I mean, but still, I don't know what happened in there, and the world may never know. But like you said, things like that happen all the time.
They happen all the time. But the thing is, Poole got to understand. You still a puppet. The big dogs on that team is Steph, Clay, and Draymond. Okay, and Iguodala. Those are the big dogs. Don't overstep your bounds. You still got ways to go. Yeah, you got a chip, but they got multiple chips.
4 to be exact.
But I will say for what they have in young talent, with Kuminga, Moody, and Wiseman and Poole, they can afford to let Draymond go after the season. I would not give Draymond a max. I'm sorry.
Here's the scary part about all that too, because you look at your starting five and you look at this young core that's coming off the bench. Where's the drop? There is no drop. There is no drop. That is the thing. They have done one of the best jobs of drafting and cultivating their talent than any team in the league. Everybody should take their blueprint. The only other team I could say has done as well with their core players and drafting, I would say, is the Grizzlies. Yeah. Because you can see, okay, if Draymond leave, I got a Moody and I got a Kuminga that can take his spot. But the heartbeat, though, that's the only problem. The heartbeat, that dog, that scrap mentality. Yeah, you need that, but I'm gonna be honest. Draymond has become a liability. He is not the Draymond of the first 2 championships. He has become his mouth has put them in bad situations. They would have 5 chips now. They would have 5 chips now if it wasn't for Draymond. 2016, yeah, you're right. 2016, yeah. Right. They would have 5 chips, and then let's just be real about this here. They are a KD and Clay injury away from 6. True. That is true. You know what I'm saying? Because the only reason they did not beat Toronto, everybody hurt. Both of them went down. Yeah. KD had KD. You could have survived KD if Clay wouldn't have went down. Yeah. Know what I'm saying? Yeah. So again, it's not Draymond. Draymond is the heartbeat, but the thing is, Draymond is not the one to keep the engine moving. Long as you got the Splash Brothers, it's gonna be hard. It's gonna be hard to do anything with them. Yeah. Like I say, Clay and Steph right now, the greatest backcourt of all time. Let me ask this question too. I'm not gonna stop derail the train, but will we see Clay get back to his form this year at some point? I don't think he'll get back to 2017-18 Clay, but he's still a dangerous man. He the most dangerous. I still say he's the most dangerous man in the NBA. So you think it's going to be a drop off in his scoring or his defense? It'd be more his defense than his scoring, because I think his lateral quickness isn't going to be where it needs to be. But from a scoring standpoint, don't let Clay get hot.
Because if Clay get hot, Clay score 50, and you trying to figure out where he got 50 from now. And
on 2 dribbles.
right. So that's he might not be the defensive player, but you don't have to be. You know what I'm saying? You don't rely on him because honestly, Steph's defense has improved to the point where he can be manageable on the outside. You got Poole, you got Moody, you got enough to keep these guys in a good place.
I still feel like Steph's defense is his offense because as much as he run around the court, you will be winded trying to keep up with himself.
That's correct. That's correct. And then when you look at it, you actually think about it, the most dangerous person in the Western Conference right now is Ja Morant. Neither one of them is going to guard Ja, when a series come up. Yeah. They're not going to guard Ja because one.
We'll talk about South Carolina in a minute too. I just got one knock, and I think he's going to work on that.
I know he will. I know he will. I mean, I'm pleasantly surprised at him, but let's finish up the Warriors when we say it like this him. So what does another championship do for Clay and Steph?
Oh, they go. I mean, you're not going to see that backcourt again. You'll never see that again. With the scoring and the defense and what they bring to the table. And like you just spoke of, the potential could have been 6. Could have been 6.
Could have been 6.
They could have had that record, the same thing with Jordan, never lost.
Never lost.
Because of injuries and and it takes a lot. It takes a lot of luck, skill, you got to do the right things. But I would still say, hey.
Okay. Let me put it like this in.
Best backcourt.
Does another championship put them with Scottie and Mike, or does it put them with the great Tim Duncan, Manu Ginobili, Tony Parker?
I won't say Scottie and Mike, even though Parker and what's called got 5. I'm gonna say Scottie and Mike.
I agree with that because there's no comparable duo other than Kareem and Magic that's at that level with Scottie and Mike. And then when you actually look at it, granted, Kareem is one of the greats, Magic is one of the greats. But when you look at individual accolades, Scottie and Mike is the pinnacle right now, and if they get another championship, that puts them at 5. That puts them at Kobe, Tim Duncan, Magic, Kareem. It's hard. It's hard not to put them boys.
I'm gonna take it a step further because really they're in a class by themselves because they wanted playing small ball.
True that. And actually, if you actually think about it, I mean, when you think about from a guard standpoint, they already the preeminent guard standpoint ever in the history of the game. Mike is great, but Mike is an individual. Mike never had a sidekick like at point guard, like Stephen Clay. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. One of them you can't take it. I mean, don't get me wrong. Back in the day, if Jordan was down, you could count on Scottie just because Scottie's there. Jordan still, Jordan off. You can't take your eyes off him because Scottie gonna get his. But at any given time, especially when it's time to take over a game, hey, Jordan gonna do what he got to do. But with Golden State, they can take turns. Clay, I'm gonna take the night off. You got it. What 61 points in 3 quarters? I mean, hey, okay, Steph, I'm taking the night off. What he set the record for 3-pointers in the game. So I mean, what you gonna do with that?
You can't do nothing with it. That's the whole point. I mean, they've had games where both of them had 40. You know what I'm saying? Scottie and Mike, I think maybe they did that maybe once or twice.
Yeah. Then you got to look at it like this too. I mean, when you look back in the early days, I think that was right after, right before Mark got, I think during the Mark Jackson era, I can't remember, but there was a big 3 in Miami.
Yeah.
And Steph just went in and just showed out. I mean, they were still the class of the NBA. Don't get me wrong, but Steph went in there and showed out.
Well, that's been their thing. That's been their thing on the biggest stages in the NBA. Whether it's the Lakers, the Knicks, whoever the good teams are, they typically show up because that's how they play. They even to this day they still have a chip on their shoulder, even though they got multiple championships. They still got this chip on their shoulder because people think they soft. And you listen to guys around the league, they tell you, man, you must be crazy. Them boys straight killers.
Yeah, it's Steph talk more trash than anybody. But hey,
right. Anytime you turn around, you throw the ball up, you turn around, you talking to the crowd, and you already know when they left your hand. Come on, man. Ain't but one other fella I didn't see him do that. That's Bird, man.
Yeah.
That's Bird. Now, Steve Kerr, another championship, puts him on the level or even beyond Red Auerbach, Phil Jackson. Because he got
I got to bring up the elephant in the room though. I gotta do it. I gotta do it.
What's the elephant in the room?
I mean, he inherited a lot of that, man. He inherited Steph and Clay.
Well,
I'm not gonna say he didn't mold them and didn't, put his own touch on it, but
well, it's the same thing. Doug Collins cultivated Scotty and Mike.
Exactly.
Couldn't get him over the hump. Phil Jackson came in and got him over the hump. Same thing. Dale Harris cultivated Shaq and Kobe. Phil comes in, Phil wins chips. I mean, is it the coaching or is it who cultivated? Mark Jackson. If Mark Jackson, we all know that there's outside things that keep Mark Jackson from being a head coach right now. But Mark Jackson gave us the Splash Brothers in the beginning. And the thing is, yeah, we're grateful for that. But I don't think they would have been winning championships without Steve Kerr.
That's like saying Tony Dungy couldn't get the Buccaneers over the hump.
He didn't. He didn't. He
But,
did. Because think about it. Remember,
is Chucky a better coach than Dungy though?
Tampa Bay, remember when he was there, Tampa Bay lost a playoff game 11-10 because they could not score. That was their biggest thing. Defense was outstanding, but Tony Dungy could not get them over the hump. And even with this here, Tony Dungy, remember something, Tony Dungy got his Super Bowl because he beat a terrible Bears team coached by Lovie Smith. Peyton Manning was your quarterback, okay? You only got the one Super Bowl with Peyton Manning. One. How many times you lost to Belichick and the non-Patriot playing Brady's? Because Peyton, if you look at history of playing the game, Peyton is a much better quarterback than Tom Brady. Yeah, Tom Brady got all the records.
Yeah, a much better quarterback than Peyton.
Eli beat Tom. That Eli can throw that up every day at Thanksgiving when they together. Like, I beat Tom twice, right?
Yeah.
And Peyton just have to look at him like,
you can say.
Ain't nothing he can say because Eli going to the Hall of Fame on them 2 championships, man. And Eli got no business being in the Hall of Fame, but he was the quarterback of the New York Football Giants. Beat Tom Brady twice.
Yeah.
So he's going in, and the 2 playoff runs that Eli made it, Eli took a beating because remember when the 49ers hit him and his face mask turned all the way around and Eli still threw the touchdown? That tell you all you need to do.
What type of expression did he have on his face?
Same one he had all the time.
That's it.
Eli. All right, so let's talk about the homeboy from South Carolina from down the rim, Dalzell. The Grizzlies, I think I can't wait for Christmas Day. They have this nice little back and forth going with the Warriors and everything, but I just don't think that the baby Grizzlies are big enough to deal with the Warriors. When it's all said and done, talk all the stuff you want, but when it comes time to win, they're going to find a way.
Yeah, I think the Grizzlies got a lot of upside, and it's got a lot to do with Ja, but the big 7, I can't remember dude's name, big 7-footer. Jaren Jackson, man, I'm telling you.
Jaren Jackson is an outstanding defensive player, but his problem is Jaren Jackson foul a lot.
That's true. But when he in the game.
But Jaren Jackson foul a lot. And I have yet to see Jaren Jackson play a consistent 4 quarters against quality teams. I see him play against sorry teams. I have yet to see him stay in a game and be consistent against good teams.
This might be the year he turned that corner.
Now, a lot of people think Ja's going to win the MVP. I'm one that think he will win the MVP. But I don't believe they're going anywhere just because I know how hard it's going to be to beat Golden State. And they showed last year they was almost manipulated by Minnesota.
Yeah.
And Minnesota didn't have anything that should have gave them any problems. So it's a course in winning.
Yeah, that's true.
It's a course in winning.
You got to take care of your business.
You got to pay your dues.
Yeah, and you got to take care of your business too. I mean, I don't know if they were looking past Minnesota or what, but yeah, that could have been totally different. But I think for them to make that turn, and don't get me wrong, because Josh scoring more points in the paint, he scored more points in the paint last year than anybody. But that says a lot. I mean, he's attacking the basket, but at the same time, I want to see him develop a consistent outside shot of mid range because he's not gonna be able to sustain that.
No, he's not, and he's gonna have to get a 15 to 18 foot game somewhere. Because eventually people gonna get tired of getting dunked on.
Mm-hmm.
And they're gonna take shots at you after a while. And he gotta get that jumper down because they're gonna shut down that lane. And when they shut down that lane, either you have to stuff, or this is the other thing he has, the explosiveness that he had. If he get an injury that take away that explosiveness, where's your game gonna be at that point?
D-Wade, D-Wade, because he was killing the league.
Right. I mean, right. And Ja has that same Ja has that same explosiveness, but this is the thing. You got to get a 15 to 18 foot mid-range game to go along with the explosiveness to get yourself some easy baskets sometime, because going to the hole and hitting the ground ain't Dwayne is the prime example. Going to the hole and hitting the ground every time, yeah, it give you something, but it take a toll on you over 82 games.
Yeah, man, AI. I mean, and D-Wade was, let's be real. D-Wade was a wide receiver playing point. I mean, he was playing shooting guard.
Right.
He's 6'4", 220, 230.
Right.
Him and Brandon Marshall, same size.
Right.
He's a big wide receiver.
Right. Basically. And he took a pounding. But that was the thing. You can't consistently do that day in, day out. You got to get that mid-range game. Now, Dwayne got it later on in his career, but in the early years, you think about, had he done that earlier than what he did, Dwayne probably would be more lethal than he's already been. I still put him as the third best shooting guard.
Forever will be. Oh man, my favorite player.
Yeah. Third best shooting guard behind Mike and the Mamba.
Yeah.
Now, this is one I'm gonna throw this curveball at you. Do you think New Orleans for real?
If they stay healthy. If they can stay healthy.
If they can be healthy with Zion, Ingram, and McCallum,
yeah.
They're a threat.
They can make somebody, give somebody a bad day any day.
And I'm gonna tell you who the biggest threat they is to. Memphis.
Yeah.
It's not the Warriors. I think it's Memphis. Because if Zion is healthy, Jaren Jackson cannot guard Zion.
No.
And I don't think anybody
up a lot of height, but you're not going to stop it.
No. You ain't gonna be able to stop him. There ain't nobody that can guard Brandon Ingram.
The only knock I have against Brandon, he needs to be a little bit more aggressive too. He's got the complete game.
Yeah, he does.
I really want to see him, and maybe he is, I don't know, his demeanor is laid back, but he can take over. He's got a 9-foot wingspan?
Yeah.
He got some arms. And he can do some things, man.
He is the younger version of Kevin Durant.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, he is the younger version of Kevin Durant. I look for, if they can stay healthy, they gonna scare they're gonna scare a lot. I got them third in the West, to be honest. I got them third in the West.
I can see that.
Yeah.
I can't argue with that.
If they healthy and don't get hurt, I got them totally third in the West.
I can see that.
Let's jump on the Wolves. Anthony Edwards, superstar.
That's my new favorite player. Well, next to Ja.
Superstar.
I love his game.
You know what I'm saying? He got it all right now. He can take you down low. He can shoot the J. When he on the break, Lord have mercy, he gonna hurt somebody.
He ain't scared of nobody.
The biggest issue I have with them as a whole team, everybody that watch the NBA, they love Karl Anthony Towns. I ain't sold. Yeah, he have these moments, but then you have a moment where you score 2 points in the playoff. You know what I'm saying? That you know, he's probably one of those that ain't no consistency. They gave him super max. They had to because it's Minnesota. But in theory, I think
heartbeat of that team. I'm gonna go ahead and say
Anthony
that.
Edwards is the star on that team.
Yeah, he's
That's
heartbeat
the
of
one.
that team. Yeah.
That's the one that deserves, you know, when his time come up, there shouldn't even be no question whether he should get his or not.
Yeah.
You know, but I think they made one big mistake when they made the trade for Gobert. They gave up all them picks to get Gobert, so they all in this year, and I just don't think they gonna be good enough to get. I don't even see them getting to the West Finals, to be honest. Because even if they finish fourth in the West, that means you go second round against Golden State, and Golden State will eat y'all alive.
Yeah.
You know,
and not score a point in the paint.
Right. And will not score a point in the paint. They'll eat y'all alive, man. You know, because Karl-Anthony Towns ain't got that dog in him at all. Draymond will have a field day with him. You know what I'm saying? Just messing with him, Draymond will have a field day. So I just don't see it. Let's jump to Phoenix.
I think this is your second best topic right here. I know you love to talk about this.
Chris Paul can't lead you to no championship, dog. I'm just gonna be real about it. Chris Paul has thousands of those assists, but when it comes down to it, either he gonna get hurt or he gonna choke. Period.
I mean, in the playoffs, I think during the regular season he can do what he does. But in the playoffs, they need him to score. They need him to score. It's okay to dish. He needs to score.
Yeah, they need him to score, bro. I ain't gonna lie, but you know his biggest issue when it comes to the playoffs, man, he is one of the world-class whiners I've ever seen in my life. Him and his partner.
It's in his head at this point.
Yeah, him and his partner, two of the biggest world-class whiners you ever want to see in your life, and you got to realize, come playoff time, bro, you ain't getting that stuff you get in the regular season. Just stop. You know, and you got to, and this is the thing, you came up in an era, you're gonna have a lot of records when it's all said and done, but when it come down to it, your direct comparison at point guard for this era is Steph Curry.
Yeah.
And if you look at the history between those two all these years, Steph done had you on roller skates your whole career, bro.
I saw a meme the other day when they had Chris Paul playing Twister. It's not right. Internet is not right.
No, internet ain't right, but he done had you. He done had you on skates your whole career, bro.
Yeah.
You know,
he had him in breakdancing videos, everything. That is not right. Internet, y'all stop. That's wrong.
But this is the thing. They had their opportunity 2 years ago. And
let me ask you this though. I mean, even though they had the opportunity, do you think they had the pieces with Booker, Ayton? I mean, even what's my little man named Peyton, Bridges. They got a team. Payne, yeah. They got a team.
Got a squad. They got a squad. I'm not gonna take that from them. I think Monty Williams is a great coach. The problem is that one, Chris Paul is your leader. I'm just gonna be real. That ain't taking you nowhere. He has yet to prove that he can do that any place, and he's had better talent than what he got now. So that already a detriment. And then with Booker, I'm just gonna be honest. Got that dashing in him, boy. Ain't gonna work.
That's gonna get him.
It's gonna get him every time.
Gonna
get him every time.
Well, I can't argue with that. I cannot confirm or deny.
It's gonna get him every time because this is the thing. Booker is another Kobe disciple. But the thing is this here. You ain't got the mentality. It just ain't there. Yeah, you didn't have a game where you scored 70 points in a game. Okay, that's all well and fine, bro. Where you at when it's time for it? You went ice cold when you was in the finals, and then last year in the playoffs, you let Luka pump y'all. Luka.
Time out. Luka for real, man.
I understand it.
Luka's for real.
But Luka punked y'all from the start of that game. Y'all was at home, game 7. Luka punked y'all from the start of that game throughout that whole game. Luka pulling up at the logo and shooting 3 and laughing at y'all. If that don't do nothing to you, come on, man. Luka, I mean, Luka is a beast. Don't get me wrong.
They had a dangerous team last year, and I think they can still make some noise this year too.
Oh,
We'll get to them later. Dallas,
Luka,
we'll get to them later.
they ain't got enough. But let's jump to the Clippers. Is Kawhi gonna play 70 games?
No.
If Kawhi don't play 70 games, they ain't going nowhere. Because if you end up 5 or 6 in the West,
he coming off the bench. He should be well rested.
No, Paul George ain't got it. John Wall ain't got it. Bruh, everybody praised Tyronn Lue, say he's a great coach and all that. But I'm just gonna be real about this. I don't see the Clippers marching through New Orleans. I don't see them marching through Memphis, and I don't see them marching through the Warriors to get to the chip.
I'm gonna put it like this: I'm never gonna count the fun guy out. If he's on the court, he can be a difference maker. But he got to be on the court.
Look at it. One thing about fun guy, he got street clothes mentality too now.
He got a street clothes beat. But he disappeared for a whole season.
Street clothes don't like to play.
I knew that was going to happen because I saw we're going to get the street clothes in a minute, but game 5 sat out. But anyway, we'll talk about that.
Street clothes don't like to play, bro. And look at it. It's a shame that both LA teams got fellas that like to play in street clothes, man. They like to be chilling. See who at the game. Let me holler at Denzel while I'm over here.
I mean, the management, load management. So, but I wrap the Clippers up. If those guys can stay healthy and Kawhi can play 70 games, they might be a problem. But I don't know.
What way would they be? Would they be firmly in the playoffs, or are they in the play-in?
They would firmly be in the playoffs. I'm gonna give them a firm 5 or 6 spot.
Okay.
I'm gonna give them a firm 5 or 6. Okay. But the problem is, if they're taking them to 7 every series, Clippers done. They done.
Only way
they can't get their business done in the first 4 or 5 games. It's over.
Yeah, because the Clippers gonna do what they typically do. They gonna nut up in a critical game that they should win, that they ain't gonna win because you already know it's gonna happen. They do it. They've done it our whole lives. Yeah. Our whole lives they've done that. All right. Let's look at the Nuggets with Porter and Jamal Murray coming back.
Oh, it might be a problem.
Is that enough to help Jokic?
I think so, because he did that without any help. He was doing that without help. So he got help now. I'm going to say we'll probably see what this team really is around January.
That's going to be the key. Can they play and stay healthy? And they can be dominated by a team that can move the ball. Now, I'm gonna tell you who the team that give them the most problems. Dallas. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Dallas gives them the most problems because they don't have anybody to guard Luka. Mm-hmm. But with everybody else, they do fairly well, but they just don't have anybody to guard Luka. That's their biggest issue. Yeah. Speaking of Dallas, I say Luka don't have any help.
No, the only little bit of help they traded away in Brunson.
Now, this is the thing, and this is the question. This is the question we need to bring up about Luka, though, about Mark Cuban. Why you one of the most wealthiest owners? You got good franchise. Everybody that says that if you play for him, he take care of you, whatever. Why he can't get free agents to come there?
Small market.
Dallas?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, bro.
Yeah, it's a small market. I mean, Dallas has got.
It's a small market for NBA.
Yeah, because I mean, and you think about it. I mean, America's team is right there in Arlington. So I mean,
but
it's overshadowed.
But you got to got Texas too. Spend money though. That's what I'm saying. But even go back to when Dirk was there. He never got top flight free agents to come there.
No. I'm not sure about that, but I would say that's a football town. I just don't think people equate NBA basketball, even though a team is there. I mean, even baseball, they got the Rangers there, even though they just don't. That's football time.
Okay, well,
I don't know. That's a good question. I mean, if he does take care of his players, yeah, that's I don't know.
It's something. I just feel like it's something missing there because you got an owner, one of the wealthiest owners in the NBA, and it's almost like they play one-handed because he doesn't bring in top flight. And you would think that would be a destination. Texas has no state taxes.
Beautiful city.
No state taxes.
No.
I mean, you know, but you see the Spurs and the Rockets have the same issue though.
Well, it's location.
Well, I think you brought up a good point. What rules the state of Texas?
Dallas. Gerald Jones.
Football, period.
Yeah.
Whether Pee Wee, high school, college.
High school probably more so than pro, honestly.
Right. Football. That's what runs Texas. And I think that's the biggest detriment that they have. All right. I know we got to finish up real quick.
Now I'm gonna let you do all the talking on this one. I'm gonna say.
Wait a minute. I got one more before we get to this one. Okay. I'm glad to see that Dame is back. Dame time. I'm so glad to see him back, man. I wish he was in a different spot. I understand what he want to do. He want to win in Portland. Can't fault the man for that. But at the same time, ain't gonna happen. But just glad to have him back and doing the things that he's always done when he's been healthy.
That's all I can. Dame time. That's it.
Tough fella. Now, my favorite subject of all the NBA, the Los Angeles Lakers.
I'm not gonna say a word. I'm gonna let you do all the talking on this.
Storied franchise that it is. We're gonna start off with this him. LeBron, at some point in January, late January, early February, is gonna break Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's all-time scoring record. That's gonna make him the scoring king. Okay. Hollow record from my standpoint, because he didn't have to go through the battles that Kareem had to go through when he was in there, because Kareem had Wilt, Bill Russell, Robert Parrish, Cowens, all them leaning on him, Moses Malone, Hal Lanier, all them fellas leaning on him back in the day, and Kareem was still outshining them. So again, it is what it is. Again, I say this here. He might do it as a Laker, but he will never be a Laker great. I say that right now. Okay. You're not even in the top 5 Laker greats of all time. Not even there, not even close. I don't want to hear nobody. Shut up. You can come at me all you want. I'm just going to tell you plain and simple, shut up. He ain't even the greatest Laker. And if anybody say he close to that, you need to be slapped in your face, because obviously you don't know that, because this is the thing right here. You cannot sit there at one point or any time and say that LeBron James' career is equal to any Laker, living or dead. Not gonna happen. Not gonna happen. No Laker. Okay. Second part. Reason why they're right now, they're currently 0-5. They should be starting right about now. They playing the Nuggets tonight. I predict they'll be 0-6 when this show is over with, because they cannot play. You blame Russ for everything. It is not Russ's problem. Russ can't shoot. I know Russ can't shoot. I let Russ shoot. Okay.
Russ can't shoot.
That's not Russ's game. You had no business bringing him there in the first place. But because you wanted to be, I want my fellas to be cool and whatever, that's what got you in the situation you're in right now. Anthony Davis is the biggest waste of 7 foot tall I ever seen in my life. He's soft as Sharman tissue. Okay. If you wipe your behind with him, he's gonna leave a streak. That's just how soft he is. He already didn't miss a game. Season ain't even 5 games old. He didn't miss a game. Talking about it back hurting. He is the most injury-prone person I've ever seen in my life. And this is the thing. You gave Rob Pelinka an extension. So obviously you figure he's doing a very good job. Tell me how. Tell me how. Okay? Tell me how. Because you have LeBron. Okay, if you want to say that's a good thing to have, whatever. What is around him? Nothing. First of all, you need to know LeBron is not a shooter. LeBron is a scorer. That is a difference. There is a difference. But you have him surrounded by people that can't shoot. but you still play an NBA game like you are the Golden State Warriors. Tell me why 4 people around the 3-point line shooting threes and y'all can't shoot threes. If you can't do that, common sense ought to tell you if we can't shoot outside jumpers, either we shoot mid-range or throw the ball down low. LeBron, get your behind down low. Stop shooting jumpers or getting breakaway peel off dunks, because that's all you do. Because you ain't playing, it ain't like you're playing the passing lane and you jumping in there and you making steals. You peel off dunks just so you get the fans hype or whatever, but you're still getting your butt beat. And this is the thing. Anthony Davis, he is what he is, bro. At this point, why would anybody think that he's going to be healthy? He is keeping Blue Cross and Blue Shield employed right now because he stay hurt. He is a fashion plate when he's sitting on the sideline because he always in street clothes. So you explain to me how the Lakers are supposed to get better. And in this is the thing. I don't want to hear no more GOAT conversation about LeBron. So what, he got a scoring title? Don't mean nothing. Mike ain't never been no 0-5, but LeBron is. But I don't hear nobody talking about him. Everybody want to blame Russ. Everybody want to blame Rob Pelinka. No, who is the GM on this team? LeBron. He put this team together. He wanted to play with Anthony Davis. He got Anthony Davis. All right, look at what you got. 7 foot or nothing. Period. Can't do nothing. Can't do nothing. I can play a whole game and probably get 10 points on Anthony Davis. And he is 12 inches taller than I am. I can score on Anthony Davis. Because all I got to do is pinch him. He'll fall down because he can't stand it. So explain to me how anybody's supposed to win. And this coming from a 50-year-old man. I'm telling you right now, they are abject disaster, period. No other talk about it. And we're going to be burdened down to have to watch them all year. If the Lakers win 20 games, it'll be a surprise. Because what you going to trade? You ain't got nothing to trade because you ain't got nothing nobody want. So what you going to trade? You going to trade them 2 first-round picks in 2027 and 29? You'll be a fool to do it. Because this team ain't going nowhere. What team in the West is they going to beat? Name one. What team in the West is they going to beat?
Maybe the Kings. Maybe
the Kings. That's it. So that put you 14th in the West. Okay. So if you only gonna beat the Kings, okay, we already know the three in Texas you are not gonna beat consistent. You're not gonna beat Phoenix. You're not gonna beat Memphis. You're not gonna beat Golden State. You're not gonna beat Portland. They ain't come back and put game time on y'all. So again, I say this one more time, and this is the thing. If you go back and look at the highlights from the game when you played against Portland, Anthony Davis, 7 foot tall, standing at the 3-point yard line. Jokic turns around because he already know he ain't gonna hit that shot. He get the rebound and they go on the break. Nobody respects y'all because they know y'all game is trash. All of y'all. Your game is trash. Every last one of you. I'm so sick of hearing about y'all but see, it's funny now because see, I just sit here and look at it. But y'all sold your soul to LeBron. And because you sold your soul to LeBron, you deserve everything that you get. You deserve everything that you get. You sold your soul to LeBron. So if you're going to suffer these whole 82 games, I hate for my boy Snoop Dogg. I hate it for Ice Cube. I hate it for Denzel. If Jack was healthy and he was still coming to the game, I hate it for Jack Nicholson. Because it's going to be a terrible year. But I'm going to enjoy it. Because you know why? There's nothing going to be more funny in this world than getting them just purely obliterated throughout the year. Because, see, you made dumb moves. You got rid of Kuzma and all of them from the championship team that you, let's be real about this. That bubble championship don't mean nothing. Okay? Yeah, you count it, but that bubble championship don't mean nothing. Okay? Because it was in the bubble. Okay? If you was playing in real, during COVID, in real setting, y'all wouldn't have won nothing. You played in the bubble. So let's get that out the way. Number two, okay? You traded away everybody from that team except Anthony Davis. Why? You thought you could be better than what you were, but you built that team on defense, but you traded away everybody that could play defense. I'll wait. So again, I don't want to hear this stuff about he is the GOAT. Please. He ain't even top 10 if you actually look at it, okay? Because where has he lifted a franchise anywhere? I'll wait. Because for all you LeBron haters that bring up where he took Cleveland to the finals, you go back and look at that Cleveland team and you look at the talent that was on that Cleveland team that didn't win a game against the great Tim Duncan and Manu Ginobili and Tony Parker. But you go back and look at that sorry rag behind team that Allen Iverson took to the finals in 2001. At least he did get a victory against Kobe and Shaq. That by itself is a cement to greatness because you beat Kobe and Shaq by yourself. LeBron couldn't beat Tim Duncan, Tony Parker, and Manu Ginobili. Need I say more? And this is the thing I'm going to hold against him to the day we all die. You lost the dirt in a championship series. Dirk. I don't need to say nothing else.
Mm-hmm.
So you going to sit there and tell me Dirk Nowitzki is better than anybody else? Come on, man. You was the superstar. Y'all had the best team in the league. Dwayne Wade acquiesced to you. I bet you to this day, Dwayne wake up and tell Gabrielle every night, you know, I shouldn't have never let this mug get on my team. Because you know why? I could have had more chips. You could have, boy. You really, really could have. But see, you mess around and you hook your wagon. And see, that's what y'all done. Y'all done hook your wagon because y'all think he great. But again, I say this here. I've never sung a song that said, sometimes I dream, he is me. He is the one that I will never be. Boom, 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 boom. Dream I move. It ain't like Braun. It's like Mike. That's all I need to say. I'm done with it, Kelsey. Over to you.
So what you got going on in the playoffs? I'll say this one thing. Interesting fact. Listen to Derek Rose on the podcast. And he was about this close to going to Miami playing with Dwayne Wade. Miami probably would have drafted him had they not drafted Mike Beasley.
Mm-hmm.
That would have been scary.
Yes, it would. Most definitely would. But again, do you see them making the playoffs?
Who?
The Lakers?
No, I don't see it.
Do you see them making the play-in?
No.
Okay, glad we're in agreement.
Not with the talent coming out the West. I like your list here. You got Golden State at number 1, Grizzlies. I can agree with this whole list. I can agree with that.
I like them last two. And you know, it's hard to put the Nuggets at 8, to be honest.
Yeah, I think they'll probably jump up to maybe 4, 3 or 4. Like I say, this January, we'll see.
Well, this is the thing. If they play the way, if they play the way I think they're able to play, it's gonna take 50 wins for anybody to get in the playoffs in the West. Go take 50. And I just don't see everybody I can see with 50 is right at to the Mavericks and the Nuggets at 7 and 8. I think they'll have 50 on the dot.
Yeah.
Trailblazers gonna get in. They'll probably be like 45 and 38. Mm-hmm. And the Rockets, if they get in, they'll be right at 41 and 41. I like the Rockets' young core. I think they will do well. I just don't see Lakers getting in front of them at all. So for the Eastern Conference Finals, I got the Hawks and the Bucks for the Eastern Conference Finals. And for the West, I got the Warriors and the Grizzlies, and I got the Warriors over the Bucks for the NBA championship.
I'm gonna substitute the Hawks with the Celtics. Yeah, that's only if they don't meet up with the Bucks prior to. But I'm seeing the Celtics coming out of the East. Celtics or the Bucks, one of the two.
Okay. Who you got them going to get?
I can agree with your Western Conference final.
Okay. Okay.
I can
Okay.
agree with that. That's the only difference I would say. The Hawks, they could, but I'm gonna go with the Boston Celtics.
Well, I'm gonna tell you why I'm gonna give you why I'm saying the Hawks, and that's only because I think the Hawks are gonna finish third in the East.
Placement, yeah.
And they have to that'll help them avoid playing the Nets and avoid playing Boston early. So I think that'll help them overall. Cleveland is the dark horse in all of this.
I think Boston they're gonna finish 1-2.
Right. Cleveland is the dark horse in the East, and in the West, the dark horse, like I say, is the Pelicans. If they healthy, Pelicans gonna cause somebody some problems. And mainly Pelicans gonna send Phoenix home, and I believe they got a good chance to give the Grizzlies a problem if they get there. So
if they get there, I can see that being a hard out, because you think when Zion first came in, nobody was talking about Ja. Even though both of them South Carolina boys, nobody was talking about Ja. And all Ja did was he pulled the Dwayne Wade move. While everybody's talking about Zion, it's stuff in the stats, highlight reels, doing what he's supposed to do. Just like when Wade came in,
right.
All everybody was talking about was LeBron
and Carmelo,
and then Bosh to a certain extent too. Nobody was saying nothing about D Wade. All he did in his third year, win the championship, while everybody else was still talking about LeBron and Melo. So I saw a lot of that. So now I think Zion's gonna come back and try to reclaim what he felt was his. If he can stay healthy.
If he can stay healthy, and he ain't got to ball out, just stay healthy. Just stay healthy. You got a squad. You got help, and that's something that actually they got talent on par with Memphis and Golden State. That's why I give them the heads up. If they get the opportunity, if they can stay healthy, they got that talent. I don't believe Phoenix is worthy. I don't believe that Denver's got to prove it to me. They do a lot in the regular season. Come playoff time, Jokic I've seen Jokic score 40 points in the playoff and still lose. You know what I'm saying?
Last couple of years, they really haven't had the help.
Even when he had Jamal Murray, it was the same thing. I've seen them struggle in that way. The T-Wolves, I just don't think. I think they mortgage the future. They're gonna struggle. They mortgage the future. But Anthony Edwards is great. He's great.
I don't think he'll stay there though.
I would honestly, because your building block. I'm not a fan of D'Angelo Russell. Definitely not a fan of Cat. So I mean, I wouldn't stay there. When my time come up, I don't care if they could throw a bag and a half at me. I think I'd rather take my talents to South Beach myself. But that's just the way I look at it. Looking at the landscape, for him, it's gonna be in a place where they have everything to offer him. It just ain't gonna be nothing there to get them over the hump. And this is gonna be, I think they're gonna take a step back this year, to be honest. They got lucky last year. They got in, they won, but you got rid of your driving force. You got rid of Patrick Beverly, and you sent him to the Lakers. That's all I'm gonna say. You sent him to the Lakers. I feel bad for Russ. I'll be the first person to say I'm not a Russ fan. I never thought Russ' game was great. He was just an athletic fella that did things, but he taking too much of the heat, and he shouldn't. I told you when they made that trade 2 years ago, I was like, this ain't gonna work, because you can't have two ball dominant players that can't shoot. They can't work. When you a Laker, you got to be Showtime, and there's nothing about this team say anything about Showtime. They don't run, they can't run, because honestly, if I'm Darvin Ham, I let them run, but you can't run because you got a broken down center and an old man playing the game. So you got to walk the ball up the court, and you don't have half court continuity to try to run what you need to run, because they by getting in the lane and throwing it out, you ain't got no shooters, bro.
No. But that's been the problem with all LeBron teams. He never had Miami. He did Mike Miller, Shane Battier. I mean, but other than that, he's never had the shooters.
Well,
I mean, you can call Cleveland, but that was Kyrie. So I mean,
Kyrie you wouldn't have had the championship in Cleveland if it wasn't for Kyrie. I'm sorry.
Kyrie and then Draymond getting kicked out and messing up rhythm.
But Kyrie hit the shot. And to this day, I ain't figured out why you gave LeBron the MVP for that, because Kyrie averaged them last 3 games. Kyrie averaged 40 points. Them last 3 games. On step. Average 40. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, Kyrie has a legitimate beef on that one. But, you know, again, Kyrie is his own worst enemy. Because he think his platform afford him philosophy. And, bro, ain't nobody trying. Look at you make yourself look more of a fool saying the stuff that you say. Eventually, people gonna get tired of the stuff that you do, and that's why you don't have no long-term contract right now, because you don't like to play either. You play when you want to play. And see, that's one of the disturbing things about the NBA right now. Don't nobody love the game no more, man. You know what I'm saying? Because these cats, they make a lot of money, but there's no love for the game like it used to be. Like, you know, you certain fellas you see will play all day long, you know. Yeah. But then there's certain fellas you see, man, I play when I feel like it. You know, all this whining and crying about back-to-backs and whatever. Man, come on, bro. People paying hard-earned money to see y'all. And this is when y'all need to be out there. Even if, look, Mike didn't score 30 every night, but Mike went out there and gave you what he had every night. You know, that made NBA must-see TV. But that was the thing back then, and now you just feel like, oh, this is just something to do. Whatever. They spread the season out so much for y'all. It help y'all, and y'all still don't want to play. So, I mean, what's the excuse? And then now one thing about Christmas Day is gonna be lovely, because you know we get a Grizzlies Warriors Christmas Day. Oh, this is gonna be so lovely.
Both of them make it healthy. That's all I'm asking.
I just want them to be healthy. That's all I want, because that's going to be 3 games during the season that I already know is going to be 3 hard-fought games, because there's going to be some message sending in these games right there. You know, now, you know, just like the other night, the Suns beat the Warriors pretty bad the other night, but the Warriors looking at it like, man, that ain't it.
Okay,
that ain't important. That ain't important to them right now, because they already know. Now, when it come playoff time, then we'll be ready for y'all, you know. But that wasn't a statement. They know when to make their statement games and who to make their statement games against, you know. So it was probably, that was bigger for Chris Paul than it was for Steph.
Yeah.
You know.
Definitely.
So Definitely. It is what it is. So again, we thank y'all for listening to our craziness for we talking about the NBA. Next show, we'll get back into R&B male groups of the 90s with our favorite, with one of our favorites. Boys from Monroe, North Carolina, Jodeci. It's a beautiful thing, beautiful thing, beautiful thing.
Oh, yeah, most definitely. Most definitely.
They changed the world. That's one thing I can honestly say about them. They changed the world. There will never be another group like Jodeci.
That's true. That is true.
Yes. So I hope y'all have a good week. We'll see y'all in about a week or so. And Coop, you enjoy Halloween tomorrow. And
that's bag snatching for me, of course.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And for everyone, again, please remember to go out and vote. Please get out. If you know people that don't have a way to go, or somebody say they ain't gonna go, make sure they go. This is very important. Very, very important. There's a lot of issues. I know politics in this country ain't right now, but you gotta keep hope alive. You gotta feel like you making a difference in some way, somehow, and you just gotta get out there and you gotta do it. Don't be relying on anybody to do anything for you. Okay, you have the power to do it for yourself.
I'm gonna take it a step further. I'm gonna say vote, but at the same time, have conversations, people. We might not always agree, but if we can start to understand each other's vantage point a little bit better, I think we can start making the right decision when it comes to voting. And it's not about just me and what I want or you and what you want. What's going to be best for all of us? We can have those conversations and we can find the right candidates that can push that agenda. It all starts at the local level. Let them know, hey, we're not playing. Our voices will be heard. And if you can't do it, we'll make sure you're not there to do it the next time.
Most definitely, most definitely.
You got to have those conversations. I would encourage somebody sit down and talk to somebody that doesn't look like you, doesn't act like you, doesn't think like you. Try to get an understanding of what they're coming from, some of the issues that they're dealing with, and some of the things that they see on a day to day. You'd be surprised, when you break it down, we're really not that much different.
There is no difference. The biggest thing is, we two sister states, and the thing about it is, from my standpoint, looking over at your state, you have some cities that's thriving, flourishing, doing the things that are necessary, but y'all have some issues that need to be worked out, where we have some things where we still stuck in the past and we need to be more progressive and need to do things to get us to a more established point so that we can really take advantage of some of the things that we have out there. The only way we're going to be able to do that is we got to make changes. If we don't go out and let people know that this is what we want and this is how we're going to go, we're going to continue to deal with the same thing over and over and over again. And I say this from being in South Carolina. When you look at the states that surround us, they thriving, they're moving forward, and we still staying the same. That's the biggest change I feel like, because this is a beautiful place to live. There's no issues as far as just living. But it's just issues with far as, having access to certain things and having the ability to do certain things and be a certain way. It's still a backwards thinking mentality that's here that I wish would change, and be a little more forward thinking and going forward. If you look at, and I always equate it to this, and I tell folks all the time, during the Civil War, Sherman marched through the South to the sea. And you look at the cities that he burned and he tore down on his way to the sea down in Charleston. Atlanta's thriving, Savannah's thriving, Charleston is thriving, Columbia ain't thriving. So that tells you all you need to know right there. What's the difference? That's the only thing I can say. Just what's the difference? I love to visit Charleston. I love to visit Savannah. I love to visit Atlanta. There's things and progressive things that's going on there, things to do, things to raise the community. Columbia is becoming more and more just a detriment. We have the university here, but the university has squashed so many positive things in this city. Columbia needs to get away from that. It needs to become more of a metropolitan area, even in comparison to Charlotte, even in this state, in comparison to Greenville, Spartanburg, Columbia is truly lacking. So, I mean, those are the things that we need to change here. And I know y'all got the same issues we got in Georgia, but y'all's are a little more pronounced and established. Biggest thing for y'all now, we got 2 clowns as senators, and hopefully y'all won't get a clown as senator, but every time I put it like this, every time my 2 clowns open their mouth, you have to sit there and be like, we are so jacked up. Y'all, at least y'all can say, y'all a little more progressive, but we are so jacked up, bro.
Conversation and people finally, saying enough is enough.
Yeah. So again, get out and vote. Hope everything goes well with y'all, man. And praying for y'all. I put it like this here. I'm praying for y'all for sure. Yeah, because y'all got the critical races in y'all state.
I mean, the nation's gonna be looking. I mean, that's it is what it is. But we'll prevail. We'll do what we got to do.
Oh, what, regardless of whatever, because that's one thing I sit here and say, you know, I've lived most of my life. I lived all my life in this state, and nobody's never going to stop me from doing what I want to do. The thing is, you know, everybody don't have the opportunity that I have. So that's why I look at, you know, for other people to pick themselves up and get their opportunities the way that I have during the course of my life. I want them to get those same opportunities. And sometimes it's hard to see the forest for the trees, you know. Yeah. All right, bro. Well, you be good, and we'll get with y'all.
All right.
And
until next time.
And I'm gonna say this, and it's gonna irk me to say this. How about the Cowboys?
What, 6-2 now? Yeah.
Yeah.
49-29 whipping. You know, yeah, we all right.
But y'all gave up 29 to the Bears. That's all I'm gonna say.
Oh, that was just because the defense took the day off. That's all.
Okay.
Dak was back. Dak said, "You know what? Y'all take it off. I got it. Y'all held me down the rest of the year, so I got y'all today." That's all it was.
Okay. If that's what it is, that's what it be. All right.
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna call it.
All right. Y'all have a good week, and we'll get with y'all in a little bit.